Do you have to let your child visit with the other parent? It depends, right? Let's set up our different scenarios. If you are an unmarried mother, especially in the state of Ohio, because that's where we're licensed here at the Manning Law Company. If you're an unmarried mother in the state of Ohio, you have 100% custody of your child. Therefore, you don't have to let the other parent visit if you don't want to. But really, shouldn't you let the child visit with the other parent? But your question is, do you have to? And I'm going to say legally, no. There's nothing that other parent can do to force you to let them see the child. On the other hand, if the two of you are married, say you and the other parent are married persons, but you're not currently divorced, you're just living separate. In this case, both of you have 100% custody of the child. So just as much as you don't necessarily have to let the other parent see the child, the other parent doesn't necessarily have to let you see the child either. It's an important thing to note. Now, if you're in a situation where the court has been involved already, so there's some kind of a court order, then you're under an obligation to follow the court order. The court order may say that the other parent has a minimum amount of time. That is every other weekend, maybe a middle of the week, maybe more time than that. But you do need to follow what the court order says, because if you fail to do so, then the other parent can go to the court and ask the court to enforce that order. And courts frown very much upon a parent who is refusing to let the other parent visit. Courts frown upon that whether there's a court order or not. So before you ask the question, do I have to let my child visit with the other parent? I really want you to think more about all the reasons why you should let your child visit with the other parent. It's important that you know that you love the child more than your ego, more than you hate the other parent, more than you're jealous, more than you are angry. Your love for the child and your child's love for that other parent is what really needs to control. Let me tell you a story. I'm an adult child of divorce myself. My parents divorced when I was about 6 years old. And my grandmother tells the story all the time about how she would pick me up from my dad's house after I'd been visiting with him for the weekend. And she says, sure enough, when she picked me up, I'd be stinky and sticky. And she'd ask me what I'd eaten, and I'd say cheese and hot peppers, but I'd be so happy. Now, certainly, she and my mother could have decided, you know what? We're not going to keep sending you over there until he learns how to bathe you, until he learns how to dress you properly, until he figures out how to feed you a proper meal. But that's not what they focused on. What they focused on was how happy I was going to see my dad. Another parent doesn't have to be a perfect parent as long as they're an active parent. And I'll tell you the truth, I am so glad that my mother always let me visit with my dad. He's always been a very active part of my life. He's helped me to grow up to be the successful woman that I am today. And I think it's just important for you moms to know, especially you moms, that a dad who is doing his best, even if it's not what you would want it to be, is still a good dad. Let me tell you one more story. This is one of my favorites. There was a mom who was getting a divorce, and they had twin daughters. They were like 10 years old, I think, these girls. And mom did all the heavy lifting. You know, she took them to school, she took them to the doctor's appointment, she did the homework. Dad would get the girls once a week on Friday for an overnight. Not 2 overnights at a time, just 1 overnight. And undoubtedly, every week on Saturday, the girls would call home and they say, Mom, we're hungry, and Daddy is too. Yes. When I tell this story, often the mothers in the room all kind of gasp, like, oh, right? He only gets them 1 day a week. How come you can't have any food in the house? But that's not the point. What I explained to that mom was, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna pack those girls with some cereal and some SpaghettiOs and whatever it takes so that they'll have some food to eat when they're at their dad's house. Because I'll tell you this about Dad. He never left them at school on Friday. She wasn't getting a phone call from Children's Services saying nobody picked them up. He did get them every Friday like he said he was going to. It's important that as a parent who is maybe the heavy lifting parent, that you do still all you can to ensure that your child has a good relationship with that other parent. Focus on the good things that the other parent is doing, the positives that they add to the child's life. And if you focus on that, your question will be a lot less, do I have to let my child visit with the other parent? But it will be more, how can I help my child visit with the other parent?